What's up, YouTube? Robert the Monster Among Marks Drap here, and I'm not actually able to be on today because yours truly has a bit of business to do in the house. Certain small furry animals decided they wanted to go on ahead and mess with things on my computer, and while I figured out how to fix my microphone, I still haven't managed to fix everything yet. So, in lieu of having yours truly here, I'm going to set everybody up with my good friend and tag team partner, Sierra. How you doing today, darling?
I wasn't prepared.
Yeah, well, you're more prepared than I am.
Okay.
I've been fighting tech issues today, and I've also been fighting having to go to work. So, as yours truly is again still engaged with fixing shit, I'm gonna leave you all in the wonderful and well capable hands of my good friend Sierra. Take it away.
Alrighty, well, in that case, I am the heavy metal hippie Sierra. Goodbye, monster. I'm gonna go ahead and take over this. Moving right into the show, Raw opens with a replay of, well, actually, Raw opens with Roman, which not surprising at this point, but then also a replay of the Hell in the Cell Universal Championship match. Roman is immediately on the mic. He said that last night was rough, brutal, but in the end, he is still the Universal Championship. He brings up that Brock has demanded for his rematch, and then replies, "If you want your rematch, come out and get it." But instead of hearing Lesnar's music like we had maybe hoped, not quite sure if we were really hoping, but instead we get Strowman's music, which is much better. Strowman is then immediately on the mic saying, "Screw this, all of this. Be thankful Brock was there to take over and destroy this match because he's the only reason that you still hold the Universal Championship. I'm going to go get him, and then I'm coming for you." Corbin then interrupts, saying that we're not going to fight right now. We're not doing this tonight. Instead, Corbin has been on the phone all day with Stephanie McMahon trying to find a solution. And the solution that they have found is that on November 2nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, WWE is going to be filming one of their glorified house shows, much like the Greatest Royal Rumble, much like Super Showdown's going to be, and it is called the WWE Crown Jewel. Actually, kind of cool name. But it is announced that there will be a triple threat match. We assume this is going to be the main event for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. Braun's not happy about this. He then turns to Corbin, tells him that he sucks, tells Roman he sucks, turns to everybody in the audience and says that they suck, that everything sucks, suck, 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 suck. I'm not going to say that anymore because I'm going to start slurring that and it's going to sound wrong. But then we get Heyman coming out with the red steel cage door from the Hell in a Cell cage. Starts hyping up Lesnar, saying that he broke down the gates of hell, all of these cool euphemisms, and not euphemisms, but alliterations. Um, Hypes up Lesnar, talks about Brockonomics, talks about WWE versus the UFC, and then gets to the point of the entire rant. This is all about money. Brock Lesnar took a pay cut because Roman Reigns beat him. Brock Lesnar is not happy that Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman decide to gang up on him. And that is why Brock Lesnar has come back and decided he wants to beat up Roman Reigns and Strowman. In retaliation, Strowman starts stalking Heyman back up that ramp. I don't think we got to see what happened after that. I'm assuming Heyman managed to slip into some broom closet and was able to hide there for the rest of the night. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Reigns and Corbin start fighting over the mic. They just steal it from each other once or twice. And Corbin begins to run down Reigns before announcing the main event for tonight: Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. What are you doing, Corbin? I am such a big fan of you. I am so disappointed that you are using your power to, well, I guess I can't say that then. I expected this. Go, Corbin. You rock. Use it. Oh, God, I'm going to get so much hate for that one. But is then announced that we are going to be getting Drew McIntyre versus Dean Ambrose next. Um, Before the match, after commercial, we get at the Superstar Showdown a reminder that it's going to be The Shield versus McIntyre and Ziggler and Strowman. Um, Ambrose, McIntyre. Then we get into Ambrose versus McIntyre. Ambrose is targeting McIntyre's knee slash leg the entire match from the get go. Um, but the small amount of offense Ambrose gets in the beginning is quickly thwarted by McIntyre when he throws him into the barricade. We go to commercial and we come back. Drew has Ambrose in a rest hold in the middle of the ring. I really enjoyed this match, so I didn't take as big notes as I should have. I probably should have been a little bit more defined and crisp with my notes, but a couple spots that I thought were impressive. The Glasgow kiss that McIntyre got on Ambrose that made that giant echo throughout the arena. It was amazing. I know it looked bad, but God, these two can sell that. Ambrose ends up crotching McIntyre on the top rope. McIntyre falls and tangles his legs into the rope, almost like going into a tree of woe position, but manages to throw Ambrose off the top turnbuckle before Ambrose can capitalize on position. There's 2 attempted submission holds from Dean, which is kind of cool to see because he is more known as a brawler, a technical not technical, but a brawler. So we don't see him using submission holds that much. So it was kind of cool to see Ambrose digging so deep into his arsenal to pull out a couple of these moves. And these moves I think, are also really cool to see because they're going to help define the heel turn that he's eventually going to have. WWE has messed with my storyline booking, so I have no idea when I think that's going to be anymore. I originally thought it was going to be relatively close after SummerSlam when he came back, but then they jumped on the Shield for the merchandise purposes. So who knows now when we're going to get that amazing heel turn from Dean Ambrose. In the end, McIntyre is out on ringside, and Ambrose off the top rope looks like he's going for the axe handle. And McIntyre just swats him out of the ring, much like a mosquito, like people would say Braun did to people. I say a lot, guys. I am so sorry. Ambrose is laid out on the floor. The referee starts administering the 10 count, and at 9, Ambrose is able to make it back in the ring, only to be met with the Claymore kick, giving McIntyre the pin. This was a really good match. I think I've said it many times. The 4 people that are currently in the Raw tag team picture have so much potential, so much, not potential, because we know what they can do. They're putting on the best matches that they can right now, and we're being rewarded with it. After that, we see Corbin planting the idea into Ziggler's brain to invoke his IC title rematch, stating that Seth Rollins isn't even in the building. He's too injured to show up. So if you ask for your rematch and he doesn't show up, I'm going to have to make him forfeit it, and then you'll get the belt. They go ahead with this plan. Hopefully we get Seth Rollins. After that, we see the Hell in a Cell replay of Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss. Following that, we see Natty and the Bellas in the locker room, followed by Ronda coming in asking, how does an open challenge match work? Ronda, if you wanted advice on an open challenge match, go talk to Rollins. He is the king of open challenges. Or John Cena, but you might make Nikki mad. So we will be getting a women's open challenge later tonight, it seems. After this, we get Bobby Roode and Chad Gable coming out in their little tandem. Gable's enthusiasm is infectious. I love how much fun he seems to be having with this, and in turn, how much fun Bobby Roode seems to be having. They just really seem to mesh together. I love these two. So we go to commercial, and then after that, we get the Ascension's music. I'm not gonna stand up, but there's a proud little Ascension shirt. Um, it is Chad Gable versus Victor. Poor Victor. Poor Ascension. I don't know how much longer I can deal with this crappy booking from the Ascension because they did have an impressive run as tag team champions that beat nothing but jobbers on NXT. Gable dominated most of this match. There was an attempted interference from Connor that Gable just jumped over. We did get to see a little bit of offense from Victor, but in the end, Gable hits that amazing German suplex, pinning Victor. And before he can truly start celebrating his win with Bobby Roode, Connor comes out of nowhere and mows both Bobby Roode and Chad Gable over, and then leaves very angrily without Victor. So I've got two issues here. One, do not break up the Ascension. I have a hashtag that I need to keep alive. Two, if these are just glorified squash matches to get Bobby Roode and Chad Gable over as a tag team and as singles competitors, why do we keep coming back to the Ascension? If I understand Ascension is the glorified jobbers, but you're almost making it seem like a feud. The only issue is that Ascension kind of needs a win for it to become a feud. Um, it was an impressive match. I gave it a C plus. I think I was being generous because my favorite people are in this match. But moving on, God, I keep moving through my notes. We see Rollins entering the arena and is immediately stopped with an interview. He is asked on his thoughts of Ziggler invoking the rematch and reminds everybody that while Corbin might be the acting GM of Raw, it is still Monday Night Rollins. You can tell when he's walking in, he looks like he's hurt. Looks like he's in a bit of pain, and Ziggler must be as well, considering they took that horrifying spot off the side of the steel cage into the announce tables. But after this, we get The Undertaker with his reply to Triple H's rambling promo from the week prior. He calls Triple H delusional, says that Triple H used to be savage. He used to be the game, the man. But now all he does is play corporate games. His life is, he says that Triple H's life is filled with lies and he can't see the fear in his own friend, HBK's eyes, or his ultimate demise that is coming at this match. He tells everyone that he's going to put Triple H 6 feet under and game over. He then turns his attention to Shawn Michaels because they had the interaction 2 or 3 weeks prior. Um, he says that Michaels isn't going to come to Melbourne, Australia just to watch in the front row. Michaels is coming to Melbourne, Australia to be in Triple H's corner, and therefore he announces that his brother of destruction, Kane, will be in his corner watching his back at the Super Showdown. um, he says that he took HBK's career and he's going to do worse to Triple H. He's taking his soul and he's taking him down. And then iconic Triple H will rest in peace. I wasn't thrilled about this match. I thought they started building it too quickly, too early. There was still a pay-per-view on the way, but they managed to keep it on air, but not as prominent as the matches that would be happening at Hell in a Cell. Now that Hell in a Cell is out of the way, I can say I'm very excited for this match. If you're not excited for a Triple H Undertaker match, even though it's been many a year, and I'm terrified to see what condition the two of the men are in. Undertaker had the hip replacement. Granted, Triple H looks amazing, but he only wrestles 1 or 2 matches a year. Um, and I don't know how I feel about having HBK and Kane in each other's corners. Granted, these are the men that have stood by Undertaker and Triple H most of their careers, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. But I guess I should go ahead and move on. We get a Connor's Cure promo, which was a little bit more bearable than last week's and the weeks before's promo. Thank God we only have one. No offense, I donate, and I think that no child should have these terrible diseases. But I'm so happy that there's only like 2 more weeks left in September. And then we have to deal with the Susan G. Komen. November, October, November are really big donation months for me. Good God. But leading into that, we get to see Bailey and Sasha come out with a couple of the Connors Cures kids. Um, they get to do the entrance with Bailey and Sasha before Bailey and Sasha go down to the ring to face Dana Brooke. This match, this was a squash match. This was just something to do. To be honest, it was a filler. Dana looked solid in the match, but this really didn't do anything to show how good Dana could be. Um, Again, Dana looked solid through the match, but very quickly Bailey was able to capitalize with the Bailey to belly. Again, nothing wrong with this match, but it just wasn't interesting. It doesn't do anything to develop a storyline. It didn't make Dana look amazing. But immediately following that, we see Maverick and AOP walking backstage, assumably towards Gorilla. And was it Razor? Yes, Razor randomly picks up this poor tech guy and like throws him against this pillar and just leaves him hanging there, strangling him. I don't want to really. Asphyxiation is a thing, guys. Um, Maverick manages to tell Razor to put him down, save it for the ring, and that's exactly what they do. AOP quickly dispatches of the local enhancement talents tag team that was Gregory James and Barrett Brown. Guys, your local enhancement talent is looking really weird right now. We saw the weird Chippendale guys that, not really Chippendale guys, but they had those weird things around their necks that I could have sworn were bow ties. We've seen the shock blonde hair. We've seen now these crazy tattoos on James, which I have bad tattoos, but I'm not going to show those off like he is. Very quickly, it's a squash match. Poor jobbers. AOP almost probably killed him. I'd check the Memphis obituaries here in a couple weeks to make sure these guys aren't dead. But AOP does win with a super collider. Maverick looks like $1,000,000 standing next to these guys. It's really cool that they have someone being the mouthpiece for AOP, especially considering what they did to Michael Ellring. Um, my only issue now is that squash matches are getting old. When AOP first came to the main roster, they did take out actual talent. They've taken out talent. Why are we continuously getting the squash matches? We need to find a tag team that, preferably not the Ascension guys, to take on and feud with AOP. But moving on, we see Ziggler and Corbin in the back. Corbin's hyping up Ziggler. He'd actually be a pretty good motivational speaker. I'd buy what he was selling. But Rollins comes in and crashes the party, reminding them that I'm the IC champion, the king of open challenges, and I'm not going to lose this title. We then get a replay of the cage fall from Ziggler and Rollins into the announce tables. Don't want to see that again. And I know tonight I'm going to have to see another replay I don't want to see. But moving on, we get Ziggler versus Rollins for the IC championship. Immediately, Seth looked very stiff coming down to the ring. But good God, these guys can sell amazingly. Everyone needs to take some tips from Rollins and Ziggler. Throughout the night, Rollins was selling the back injury, and it appeared Ziggler was one step slower than what he usually was. He wasn't getting to his spots as quickly as he usually does, but it was an amazing match. Again, like I said earlier in this podcast, Ziggler, Rollins, Ambrose, and McIntyre are so good together and then on their own. We see Rollins with the superplex, but Ziggler is able to manages to reverse that into a Falcon Arrow and then goes for the near fall with the handful of tights. But in the end, Rollins just barely manages to get the stomp, pinning Ziggler, retaining the IC championship. This needs to be the last page of Ziggler Rollins IC championship. I think it's time to move on. The feuds that the Shield are in right now, it doesn't do well with the gold. As we've seen with Roman and Strowman, we got Brock thrown in, which really ruined that feud in my eyes. They need to focus on the competitors, not the belts right now, because the competitors, without fail, will impress time and time again. Moving on, we do get that open challenge for the Raw Women's title. Kinda. Rousey announces her open challenge, and we actually get Natalia answering before the Riot Squad take her out. Riot Squad storm the ring, and you would think that Ruby's going to be the one that takes the challenge. Instead, the Riot Squad attack Rousey. They get the upper hand on her until the Bellas come out to help Rousey, pushing the heels back. The faces stand tall. This is where we're reminded that Rob and I were wrong. We can't take everything that we say completely correctly. We thought that the Riot Squad would be facing the Bellas and Rousey at Evolution. We are reminded after this instance that it's actually the Riot Squad versus Rousey and the Bellas at Super Showdown. Sorry, we were wrong. After this, Braun threatens to kill Baron Corbin. Good job. He probably is the most hated person on the locker room at this point. And that's. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I'm still here. Um, Still working. Just kind of keeping an eye on our show here, on our baby.
Did you hear me saying that we were wrong about the Riot Squad and Rousey and Bellas?
I did not. Like I said,
So,
I've been tinkering with the setup here, so I haven't been listening 100%. I just got back in.
so I was going over the Rousey Open Challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and after that,
Which even in my opinion was a great idea.
it was a great idea, even though it never actually happened.
Yeah.
Um, but I think at the Hell in a Cell review, we said that the Riot Squad would be facing Rousey and Bliss at Evolution.
No, we said.
You said that.
I'm pretty sure I said it was the Bellas
You
because I saw it on the
you said the
promotional
Riot
print.
Squad and Rousey. It was the Riot Squad versus Rousey and Bellas
Yep.
at Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
It is not. It is the Riot Squad versus versus Rousey and the Bellas at Super Showdown. They showed the card
Oh
after
yeah,
this
that's
thing. So I
right.
was right.
Oh yeah, let's rub it in my face amongst all the other things that's happened that I
I'm
got
still
that
waiting on a
wrong.
title belt in the mail.
Yeah, well, yours truly is kind of broke, so I mean, hell,
All right, I
I made
guess.
the title out of cardboard. It's not all that great.
All right, I guess I should move on since I'm the only one who actually knows what happened on Raw.
Yep.
Moving on, we get to see Elias play one chord and go to commercial break. We didn't get the ladies and gentlemen, Elias. We didn't get the who wants to walk with Elias. We got one chord and commercial break. But when we come back, we get to see Elias strumming the melody to One Bourbon, One Scotch, One Beer, which I thought was amazing. I was humming it along with them.
It's one of my
Um,
favorite songs.
He then says the iconic "Who wants to walk with Elias?" But in honesty, it's "Who wants to interrupt Elias?" And this week it was Leo Rush, which I was not excited to see him come out at first. But seeing Elias and Leo have their interaction with each other, Elias asks, "Whose kid is this? Why would a parent let their kid up onto the ramp?" It was actually kind of funny. Leo Rush then starts hyping up Bobby Lashley, the big guy, as he calls him. Um, I had an issue with Leo Rush's cadence for a long time. And I think him being live, having to say so much, has really fixed his cadence issue because it didn't bother me last night. Uh, this leads to another Super Showdown card saying that it's going to be Cena and Lashley versus Elias and KO at Super Showdown. And then we immediately move into Elias versus Bobby Lashley. After seeing the card for the Super Showdown, you kind of had to expect that Kevin Owens was going to come out and mess up this match in some sort of way. Well, we get that after that amazing jumping knee that Elias hit Bobby Lashley with while Bobby was coming off the top rope. We see KO come out. Lio Rush immediately intercepts him. I'm so sorry I hit that, guys. Lio Rush immediately intercepts Kevin Owens. We get some fancy footwork. We get some amazing flips from him. This guy, Lio Rush, as much as I don't like him, he's a walking highlight reel, much like Ricochet, much like Adam Cole, much like all the NXT guys. It's a little sad Lio never got his chance to do that in NXT, but he's better on the main roster right now because he has something to do other than brag about himself. But we get the finality of the match is Elias winning by DQ because Lio Rush accidentally hit the enziguri on Elias. Bobby Lashley has to go in and save his manager. In the end, the faces come out strong. Lio Rush sitting on Bobby Lashley's shoulder like a small child would do with his parent. I'm really starting to think that Lio Rush is Bobby Lashley's son. Oh, couldn't breathe there for a second. Moving on. God damn it. Can you fill time real quick?
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind everyone, please go on ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share, all those wonderful things. Our wonderful heavy metal hippie is dying dying to see you guys hit those buttons for us, so that way we can keep bringing you wonderful shows. The plan is that after tonight's show, which happened, after SmackDown Live, which happens here very shortly after 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, you will be having our wonderful SmackDown Live review happen tomorrow night here on the channel, hopefully after 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. That as usual with any card is subject to change. Let's bring back our wonderful heavy metal hippie here. We had to black you out a bit, but now we got you back.
Sorry, the demons tend to try to kill me once in a while. That one tried to suffocate me in my own saliva.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Moving on, though. After this match, we see that earlier in the night, Alexa Bliss challenged Ember Moon to find a partner to face Mickie James and Alicia Fox. I was thinking about it, I was just like, well, who can be Ember Moon's partner? Everyone's doing something. Boy, did I forget about the Irresistible Force, because Nia Jax has returned as Ember Moon's tag team partner. This match wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was really just a nice reintroduction of who Nia Jax is, because we haven't seen her in frickin' forever. Got a little heated about that. Sorry, guys. Tend to get a little over emotional when the demons try to kill me. The basic story of this match is that the heels try to keep Nia out of the match for as long as they can. They work over Ember Moon, really broadcasting that we need that hot tag. Well, eventually Nia does get that hot tag, and wow, I did not take any notes for this because I didn't care about this. Long story short, just because I didn't really care for the match, I'm sorry. Nia pins whoever it was and wins, because I was not actually in the room for this. It's just good to see Nia again, in my opinion, but this was nothing impressive. Moving on, we see Baron talking to the ref, telling him to call it down the middle, completely down the middle. This smelt shady, in my opinion. But moving on to the main event that nobody wanted to see, including me, and that's saying something as a huge Baron Corbin fan.
I was gonna say lies.
No, I did not care for this match. As much as a Baron Corbin fan I was, I hated this match.
Well, you might have hated it because of what happened in it, but I
just did not like the setup of this at all. I didn't like that Corbin used his power to make the match. He didn't earn the position. I understand as the heel GM, this was just an angle for him.
Oh, yeah.
But if you were going to do this, and especially because we had four heels at one point in the ring versus three faces, how did the three faces stand tall over the four heels? You
Because it's the
outnumbered the
Shield.
faces. It hurt to see the crew that had the more people not come out on top, especially because the four people were Corbin, Strowman, Ziggler, and McIntyre, the four hottest heels on the roster,
Yeah, I
in
mean
my
that's
eyes.
that's kind of you. I mean, if it hadn't been for had it been Corbin, Ziggler, and a couple of the other guys from the back, I would have been okay with that. But Strowman and McIntyre are monsters, and they should be. You can't
And
have
that's
them like
again, that
that.
doesn't make sense. If you just think numbers and kayfabe wise, you always need to have the even teams. But let me go ahead and get into the match, or my quick once over of the match. As soon as the bell rang, Corbin started working over Reigns from the beginning of the match. He started he used Roman's injuries to his advantage, but once Roman hits the drive by, Corbin retaliates by throwing a chair at him. That causes a DQ. Corbin gets upset ringside, but then restarts the match as a no DQ match. This causes Strowman to enter the fray, as well as McIntyre, Ziggler, Rollins, and Ambrose all trying to come out and even the odds. It was a little odd that we didn't see Finn Balor come out. That would have been the fourth person I wanted to see with the faces, especially since he and Corbin have history together at this point. Um,
There was just to kind of interject this. There was some pre Hell in a Cell rumor that Finn Balor would be joining the Shield, and this would have probably been the most opportune moment for it. But
it would have been like an honorary Shield moment, like Angle, because
yeah,
Balor's got the OG BC,
yeah, but they're not pushing that. So
and the rest of the BC is on SmackDown.
this is very true.
Um, but let me get back into this. So we see we see the Hounds of Justice and the Dogs of War all in the ring together. Ambrose and Rollins manage to keep the Dogs of War at bay until Reigns can connect with the spear on Corbin, pinning him. Just a couple issues I have. The rivalry that the Shield and the Dogs of War have shouldn't be circulating around the belts. It's hurting both the feud and the belts. It's odd, again, it's odd that we didn't see Balor come out due to the history with Baron Corbin. And again, the heels had more numbers and still failed to come out on top.
I
And that
could, I could,
that is
I
been
could kind
rough.
of, I could have kind of argue that it being centered around the belts doesn't exactly hurt it. It gave it a reason to exist in the first place.
It,
But it does need to evolve beyond that eventually.
it
Um,
does. It did give a reason to start the feud.
yeah,
Because
I give
with
it.
Roman having the belt, he has Rollins and Ambrose on his side. But the feud shouldn't be taking over all the belts.
This
The
is
tag
true.
team belts are in it now. The IC belt was defended last night. That needed to be the end of the Ziggler Rollins IC feud. Finish it. Done. Finito. Um,
I mean, you're not
and
wrong.
the bulk of the feud does center around the Universal title.
Hmm.
That kind of came to a crashing halt and thrown in a fiery garbage can when Brock Lesnar came back.
And I don't think. I think that having the match end, like I said on our Hell in a Cell review, which I just recently realized is also the title of this stream, which it shouldn't be. But I never managed.
Whoops.
Again, because I'm not 100%, I can't. I wasn't able to fix that. But um, the truth of the matter is it should have been that the match at Hell in a Cell finished as whatever, maybe a lucky win by Roman rolling over at the last second, whatever, doesn't matter. And then Brock Lesnar coming out tonight and destroying the two of them, and I can't wait to get into that. But
Brock Lesnar didn't come out tonight.
No, no, no. I'm saying that that's how it should have went. Instead of him coming out at Hell in a Cell, it should have been him coming out at tonight's show to wreck everybody. But I don't know
But
what they
that
were
would have
going
gone against
for.
the entire so your entire theory is redundant because at the beginning of the show, I know you didn't get to watch, but at the beginning of the show, and I'm sorry for anyone who's been listening for as long as they have, because I'm repeating myself, Corbin was on the phone all day with Stephanie trying to find a solution, and their solution was that on November 2nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, WWE is holding another glorified house show called WWE Crown Jewel, and the main event is a triple threat for the Universal Championship: Brock, Braun, Roman.
This is dumb.
That is why it was done at Hell in a Cell. That was the main circulating theme of tonight's episode of Raw, was the announcement of WWE Crown Jewel, the announcement of the Universal Championship match, and then starting to put the finaling touches on Super Show.
Okay, so give us your final thoughts on tonight's Raw, if you wouldn't mind.
Final thoughts on tonight's Raw. This almost felt like an NXT a post takeover for NXT. It was a lot of review of what happened, a lot of moving the puzzle pieces of the feuds. Favorite moments of the night all revolve around the people in the Raw tag team title scene: Ambrose, Rollins, Ziggler, McIntyre. They really held the show up. It was nice to see a match with Victor doing the singles competition with Gable. I gave that a B minus, but I think I might have been a little too nice because of my love for these men. Overall, oh, he's talking to someone. Sorry. Overall, this was a solid. It was a solid post pay-per-view Raw. I highly encourage anyone who hasn't already seen the episode to go see it because there are some really good matches in it. But I mean, pretty substandard episode of Raw for a post pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all those wonderful things. Where? Down below. Go on ahead and hit the bell for the notifications. Follow us on Twitter at InMoshPit. Follow her on Twitter at Heavy Metal Hippie. And we will see you all tomorrow night.
At Rob's Random ROMs.
Oh, crap, I am, aren't I? I am at Rob's Random ROMs.
That way.
It's not on the screen. I completely made this show about you. 100%. I'm not on the screen at all. You are the star of the show, as it rightfully should be in some cases. And we will see you all tomorrow night for our SmackDown Live review. Later.